we're pouring water into a bathtub that has a giant hole ripped in the bottom.
You know, we can do a lot more. So that way, I know some of those people personally. Some of them are great, some of them are not so great. But we can do a whole lot more to protect our young people. And it's not that I think you're right that we worship tech for too long. Yes, sir.
And then in relation to that somewhat, I want to know a little bit about your policy in regards to education, because there's been a recent development in regards to, for example, the measles outbreaks that have been happening around the country with regards to the anti-vaccination movement. There's a lot of nuance behind why people go forward with that kind of policy. I'm not going to vaccinate my kids, but there's so much data to show that that's a good thing to do, and it's something that improves health. But there's something about education specifically, and the fact that there's so much misinformation on the internet, and it's related so much to social media aspect that people who do not know anything about it, frankly, are espousing these ideas, and there should be something done about, I think, the education specifically about that. So I want to know if that might be something that relates to that whole social media control.
I thought you were going to ask about college education stuff, and then you went towards the anti-vaccine movement. Yeah. So to me, the mistrust in vaccines is like just a manifestation of our collapsing faith in institutions generally. And you can see the numbers. It's like we trust our government less, schools less, hospitals less, media less. And so then if you have parents, you go to a kid and be like, hey, get a vaccine. It's like, oh, I don't trust you. It's like the latest. And so then if you come to them and say, like, no, we must trust them, you come across as like you're strong-arming someone. And so really the mission we have to have is to try and restore that sense of faith and trust, at least in facts. And that's a very, very hard thing to do. It's a very important thing to do. One aspect and one way we can help keep facts central is local journalism is dying around the country. Over 1,200 newspapers have gone out of business because they used to rely on classified ads, and the classified ads disappeared and went to Craigslist, and now they have no money, and then they're going out of business. And studies have shown that when you lose your local newspaper, democracy suffers, voters get more polarized and less informed. And we're all looking at it being like, well, I guess that's the end of journalism, on a local scale, and I think that's nuts. And so as president, I'm going to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in helping local communities come up with cooperative business models for journalism so that it can be sustained. And then hopefully you have more people that are getting quality information, and then you can start building trust in things like vaccines and many other issues. Because to me, it's vaccines and then it's everything else. How many of you noticed stores closing where you live? Why are stores closing? Amazon, right? Amazon's like a giant black hole or vacuum sucking up $20 billion in business every year. Stores can survive for a while, but now 30% of American malls and stores are closing. What is the most common job in the U.S.? Working in retail. The average retail worker is a 39-year-old woman making between $10 and $12 an hour. And we know that there's not a lot of savings in many of those households. So 30% of the malls and stores close. What happens to those workers? Now, the retail, so that's the third inning. The fourth inning is going to be self-driving displacing call center workers, bookkeepers, accountants, lawyers. My friends, so AI, the way it's been going, AI's been hyped for years, but it hasn't been able to do much of anything. And if you call a customer service center right now and you get an automated voice, what do? You pound the keyboard so you get a human. You're like, human. And then eventually you get to a human and you're like, all right, you have a conversation. In about 2 or 3 years, they will be indistinguishable.
So universal basic income. My initial knee-jerk reaction was, get the fuck out of here.
I'm immensely grateful to everyone who's gotten this campaign to this point, and you haven't seen nothing yet. I mean, we're going to go very, very far together.